Chapter 11. From all over the surrounding territory, moans from the deep creep into my soul and heart. They give off an unearthly sound, something not of this world, seeping through the land as if squeezed through hell's bowels. The red-orange glow of half-torn faces slowly advances towards me. I'm surrounded by demons. I blink. This must be hell. I recall the water I drank. Was it from the Faust River? Between the glare of torchlight and maggots falling from the lechers, my eyes flutter rapidly. Real or not, the bawaka blade is in my hand before any of them reach me. Without thinking, I batter one of the lechers with the torch, causing embers to spray about my body in a fiery mist. Light is limited, so I think twice about using the torch. Stepping back, I spin, severing the head of the lecher. Despite decapitation, it continues advancing without consequence. I duck as a mace passes inches from my face. Rolling across the ground, I slice hard, splitting its abdomen, and its torso falls to the floor. As the body hits the ground, it clambers after me, dragging its upper half with its hands. A glimmer of steel catches my eye. Raising my blade, it stops the sword from splitting my skull. Caught within the angle of my bawaka, I grip the handle firmly and twist, separating an arm from a shoulder. The ground splatters with maggots from where the arm was once attached, and the sword falls with a thud. With its other arm, it latches on and pulls itself to me, snapping its rotten teeth. I try to break its grasp, but its strength is supernatural. I wrestle it upright, changing stances and losing ground. As each lecher approaches, I batter them with the one holding on to me. Their swords and maces sink deep into my now corpse shield, attacking their own kind without care. The evil in this place is strong. My body is weak. There's not much more I can do against the relentless attackers. Soon they will have their prize. I stare into the face of the lecher, watching the insect squirm through its nostrils, snapping its teeth at me like some delectable dish. The rot of its breath is enough to make me choke while teeth fall from its moth-eaten mouth. With my free arm, I ram the torch into its belly and watch it catch fire. The consumption is instant and intense, burning with an unholy flame. The scars below my eye ache and I stagger back, clutching my face. The lecher burns like an inferno. As it shambles around, the sickening moan returns, like the pain of razors slowly filleting the skin back from sinewy muscle. The fire spreads to all of them like a plague, and yet they continue their advance. I fall to the ground, tripping over something hidden in the mist. Another corpse. My pulse quickens as the body jerks to life, mouth moving, arms twitching. It joins its cohorts in their lament of suffering. It reaches for my leg and I scramble back, avoiding its decayed fingers. Eye moss watches my every move, adding to my anxiety. Shoulder burning, I brace my body to stand and I run, unsure which direction I'm headed, swinging the torch back and forth like a madman parting the mist. Torchlight reflects a glint of metal ahead of me, the iron gate at the mouth of the cave. I dare not stop. The wailing is close and I keep running until I slam into the iron bars with my body. I grasp at the cold metal, struggling to keep myself upright. Out of breath, I navigate the outside of the gate, feeling my way to the opening of the door. Entering, I gasp at the sight of heads on spikes, dozens of them jutting up from the dirt like scarecrows watching over crops. I drop the torch and push on the door, but it goes nowhere. I use all my weight a second time, leaning against the rusted hinges to force it shut, and again, nothing happens. Then, something slams into me straight on, forcing me through the door, freeing it of its rusted prison. I stagger a moment and regain balance, charging the door as if it were retaliating against the thing that attacked me. The force knocks the lecher to the ground, sparing me a precious few seconds. Tugging on one of the headed spikes, I feel it's heavy, and I use every last ounce of strength to pull it from the ground. I wield it like a heavy war sword, thrusting it down in the dirt with the door overlaps with the gate, locking the barrier into place. Cold, dead hands reach through the bars, grabbing my wrists, slamming my face into the cold iron. The rusted edges cut my skin, speckling the metal with my blood. The lecher wails, trying to bite my face, but the bars keep it at bay. Its tongue laps at the fresh blood. My energy spent, too weak to break free. I'm trapped in a stalemate, this dead thing and I. Through its hollow eyes and empty head, I see others approaching like demons released from hell to seek out new stock. I cry out as the lecher squeezes my wrists harder, desperate for more than just a taste of blood. It will snap my bones if I don't break free. I can't fail now. Dorian! I scream with pain as his name would release me from my bonds. Dorian! Dorian! I can't open my eyes. The pain won't allow me. The pain increases, moving from my wrists to my face. Blinking tears away, an inferno rages before me as the lecher releases me. They are all on fire now. I crawl backwards through the dirt, taking deep breaths, wiping grime from my eyes. The taste of metal is strong in my mouth as I stare into the orange and red light. Hell's demons snap their burning faces at me from a distance. They step on one another, grabbing, shoving, trying to get to me. I am a piece of meat dangling in front of their faces, a prize beyond the gate. But as the moments pass, they burn to black, crumbling to dust one at a time. The charred remains of the damned. All I can do is stare at the emptiness. Weariness overcomes me. The flames from the bodies dissipate. Embers twirl through the gate's bars like fairies dancing through the woods. My head is propped against an iron spike for comfort. Looking up, a skull looks down at me, mouth open, pierced through the top of its head. I'm so tired. Is it laughing at me? I almost laugh at it. The moaning and wailing have stopped. Sitting up, the torch still burns. Taking it in hand, I hold it away from my face despite how numb my body is. I am in hell, I say to the shadows around me, but there is no response. There is no comfort in this place. I have no choice but to move forward. Going back is not an option, especially if what awaits me is more lechers. The sound of the raging river is very near and serves as my guide. Cautiously I move among the spiked heads, varying in decomposed states, some very old, some relatively fresh. I smirk at the simple yet barbaric tactic to dissuade those who would trespass the waterway. I feel lightheaded at the thought of Joachim removing the heads of helpless victims. Would Dorian be added to his collection? I have a feeling my answer lies ahead, waiting for me in the dark. Pebbles tumble under my feet as I near the water's edge. The current looks strong. I watch it run its course through the heart of the underground ruins. The further I travel, the more agitated the water becomes. Mist sprays in the torchlight and cools my face. The sound of the rushing river is calming, and is soon interrupted with the creaking of wood. I shake the ridiculous thought of a windmill existing underground from my mind, and soon confirm my assumption. Within the minimal light, I make out the beginning of a wooden wheel spinning. Cup paddles disappear out of sight, deep under the dark waters. It's a mechanism of some sort, an oversized wheel spinning ominously alone. A faint squeak escapes the bearing at its center, rust having tainted its exterior. Realization sets in that I am in the aqueducts of the castle, where the water is transferred throughout the grounds, and the great wheel turning before me generates power. Such architecture and ingenuity is found in the great cities. I've heard rumors of advancements like this in Gleason's castle, but never believed it. Continuing on, I come across a similar structure, but the wheel is frayed and snapped. Large stalactites have fallen through it, splintering it like a storm-blown shack. Support beams full of rot hold long wooden structures in the air. Flumes. They rise from the river like bent fingers, transferring the rushing water to stone ducts, which in turn feed the bowels of the castle. The sight is bizarre, yet I am amazed at the design. There is abundance of wooden wheels here, some smashed to oblivion, some still in working order, creaking away at the bearings. More of the castle has fallen in on itself. Structures once complicated in design now lie demolished beyond recognition. Stone and wood are stacked on each other, some obstructing the river, some spread across the rubble. My progression ends as the river suddenly plummets into depths unknown, a waterfall launching off the cliff like an arrow leaving in its bow. I cannot imagine what waits at the bottom, and as I stand pondering, I realize there is nowhere left for me to venture. I turn around and wave my torch overhead. Maybe there was something I missed. An opening? A crack in the wall? Nothing. My search goes in vain, and I am left standing before one of the spinning wheels, watching the wet paddles glisten. Affirmation grips me. Double-checking my possessions, I am assured they are firm to my body. Keeping a tight grip on my torch, I time the rotation of the wheel, hold my breath, and leap. My body wedges between two paddles. The water is cold and the wood is slick. Ascending with the rotation of the wheel, within moments I am standing erect, waiting for my opportunity. Just as I thought, I am higher than one of the flumes and jump down with ease. Boots splash in the rounded shape of the interior. The footing is awkward and the entire support system shudders from my sudden weight. There is a deep, drawn-out groan as the flume sways. My heart beats fast and I assure myself this will work, and proceed to crouch, arms extending. I focus ahead of me and not below. I advance some and reach a bend. Each step sends beads of water trailing upward instead of down. Holding out my hand, the water trickles between my fingers, constantly moving upward, passing from my hand up into darkness. The more steps I take, the more creaking there is. I pause, hearing the chirping of the paddle wheels below, or is the sound coming from above? It is difficult to discern as I tread the water in sodden boots. I'm not sure how high I am, and wave my torch above me. There is a glimpse of gray stone in the distance. My steps quicken at the thought of being closer to the top than I thought. A loud crack resonates all around me, and I am thrown off balance. Suddenly, I am weightless and reach for anything I can grab. My hands find purchase at the edge of splintering wood, and I grimace. Hanging and swaying in midair, I dare not let my torch go. Without sight, I'm as good as dead. The squealing wheels get louder as I try pulling my body up onto the flume. The air currents pick up. Something passes my body. Flapping wings surround me, beating me, unyielding, nearly distracting me from the little grip I have. Cursed bats! Completely vulnerable and shoulder aching, I groan, heaving my mortal body onto the flume. I drape my cloak over my face and shoulders, covering my exposed flesh, and wait for the bats to finish their frenzy. The echoes fade away and I continue with caution. The wood groans from my weight again, but I have reached the opening in the side of the great stone wall. Water rushes through flawlessly. Pulling myself through the opening, I am thankful to be standing on stable ground despite the constant trek through the water. Each stone in the aqueduct is mortared with thick roots, brown in color, slick with moisture. Some of them I used to pull myself along the incline, preventing myself from slipping. I pay no mind to the eye moths sighing around me, for I am no stranger to them. They shudder from my torch as I pass, cowering from the heat.